Om Madhura Sarala Vakkoi Ishatatyang Prakashya Krushagata Parishesho Yopi Ishaputro Amrito Yaha Tamati Sayang Pavitram Meriyang Lokabandhum Parama Prema Murting Dinanathang Bhajamaha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We bow down to the Lord Christ, whose sweet, simple words reveal the truth of God, who, though crucified, is immortal, the Son of God, who is purity incarnate, born of Mary, the friend of all, the Lord of the lowly, and supreme love personified. We offer our salutation to Him again and again. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. So today, our topic today is Happy Easter to all of you. Today, our topic naturally is the resurrection of the Lord Christ in our heart. The word resurrection is, in English, will be rise again from the dead, or rise again and appear again. So that is the Vedantic principle, that which is inside, that eternal, absolute, again manifests. Being covered in ignorance again comes out. So that has a very good connection, thinking about resurrection. The foundation of Christian faith is three things: the life of Christ, the death of Christ, and resurrection of Him. So that was very important, significant philosophies that it matches with Vedantic understanding, that we are all pure and stainless in our essential nature. We are born for wiping out our karmas, but when God takes a human body, that is for the good of humanity, for the redemption of all. So birth is very important, and that birth is not like ours, as you know. It is called immaculate birth. And death is also a natural phenomena, but the death of the body. And that entire life of the incarnation is for the good of humanity, and how to practice spirituality in life, and how to go beyond that. That indication is there. An infinite love and compassion manifest to them. And then it is ultimately, the purpose of this is to conquer death. Resurrection, again coming out into the real self. That is indicated in the three very important aspect of the thinking about Christ's birth, death, and resurrection. Christ lived the perfect life and righteous life that ordinary people cannot, but presented that ideal before us, that this is the way to live. He suffered the pain of crucifixion, but not for his own purpose, but it is for the redemption of the world. That's why sometimes we assume that why it is called Good Friday. That's a day of pain and suffering. but we call good. From the perspective of other perspective, he has suffered all our sufferings taken into him, and he took the cross and he died in the cross. But the physical death, but the spiritual arising, spiritual power came and proved that death cannot kill that spirit. First he rose from the dead that first Easter morning, and he appeared 3 times. First to Mary Magdalene, and then to 2 other Marys, and lastly to the disciples, showing his presence. So first, Mary Magdalene, that's a very beautiful experience when you read that. That when the body was taken and kept in the sepulchre, and that was covered with a stone, and Mary Magdalene went to see the Lord next morning, not 2 days past, Monday. And when she went there, she found with so much earnestness to see the Lord, or the body at least, but she found that there is a stone block, one big stone is blocking the mouth of the position where Christ is kept. And then she was so nervous and she was praying inside, and suddenly found that this stone dropped. That's a very significant word. When the dropped stone, the veil dropped, ignorance dropped, and she found that there is a bright, luminous boy sitting over there and talking about, oh, you are searching for Christ? He is risen. And so that revelation ultimately took her to the revelation of Christ. And then she ran to their disciples to say, oh, Christ has risen. He is not found in the tomb. But they didn't believe. Doubt comes. That's one of the impediments in our spiritual life, great impediment. Even the sages and saints report us that I have seen God. You can also see, but to doubt. Someone have the experience, then you doubt their experience. So they didn't accept. Then there came the second appearance of Christ in another form to 2 Marys, of them walking along their way to the country. And when they saw Christ, and then they returned and told the direct disciples that who died, he told them who did not believe that Christ is still in the body. And then ultimately, as all the 11 disciples were in the table, 3rd time, Christ appeared to them and rebuked them for their disbelieving and hardness of the heart, and showed that stigmata. See, touch here and feel it. And then that doubt was gone. So we have to contemplate on these very 3 stages, and hearing all these things, what is the insignificance of resurrection. To contemplate the resurrection of Christ means to us, it is one, that God comes and suffers for, not for them, but for us. In the recent incarnation, we find Sri Ramakrishna suffered cancer and all the pain, but it is all for human beings, for all of us. And that, of course, we take an advantage of that. God has suffered for all us, so we can do whatever we like. God has done for us. That's a very wrong premises we take. But a devout lover of God will say, oh, if he has suffered so much, so what I should do? I should dedicate my life for him only. So instead of that, people take advantage of that as they want to do their own and thinking Christ has suffered for us, he has done everything for us, so we do not have to do anything. So that's a wrong way of understanding this resurrection theory. So God comes down as a mortal in the mortal frame for our redemption and suffers so that we are liberated, and also shows the path towards freedom and perfection. Purpose is another, how we are to endure suffering, which is unavoidable in life, and keep our peace and tranquility of mind. That's another point what this resurrection taught, that before that when we live in the life, there are suffering, and unavoidable suffering. How great you are, how pure you are, life, when you enter into the realm of Maya according to Vedanta or ignorance, there will be suffering, there will be pain, there will be, you have to pay the tax of the body because you are entering into the body will have its taxes. And also, when you live in the society, there will be some. But this is to be understood, that how to endure and to live in the life with rising above, to rise oneself above the situation. Things will happen, suffering will come, pain will come, people will revile ye, Christ said, people will revile ye when you are working for my sake, but they will revile ye, but you have to rise above them. And this proves, also resurrection proves, that there is an eternal life. And life is not ended with this death of the body, but there is something which is much powerful, which can conquer the death, this physical death of the body. There is a life after death, otherwise the question comes, who is resurrected? Also, it gives some clue that there is a theory of reincarnation also, which of course the Orthodox or normal Catholic ideas will not be able to accept. But this incident indicates that there is a life, otherwise who is resurrected, who will go into heaven, who will come down to hell, or who will live the life in a mortal frame. So all these questions come. So we find that in the Gita, Bhagavan says, Janmo karma chame divyam. The work of the Lord is janma, birth, and their karma are all divya or divine. So whenever God comes down, that janma, their birth, and their karma, they are all divine actions, divine birth. And that has a purpose. It is to redeem the people. But God is here and now. I do not see it, feel it, accept it. Even He reveals and appears, we will have doubt in our mind because our mind is not pure. So where we find, that's also another indication, that when God is everywhere, Vedanta says, of course, Vedantic God, but even in dualistic religion also, wherever we find that God is everywhere, we hear this language. Ahamatma gurhakesu sarvabhuta asayasthita. I am, O gurhakesu, sarvabhuta asayasthita. In the heart of every being, I am there. So this is the reality. But it is difficult to accept it, to understand it. Even when He reveals, we think that it is a hallucination. Or not, our hallucination may be because we are not that clear about our own experience. But when the people of experience comes and relates their stories, Ramakrishna saying, still we doubt. Holy Mother says, still we doubt. So there are the problem of this doubt. And that doubt can go away. How? Here is the beautiful idea we get from that who saw Christ first after death? It is surprising if we analyze. It is Mary Magdalene. What was her life? How people used to look at her in the society. So her character, her past was not that holy and like a saint. But she is the first to see the reappearance of the Lord. By how? What is the tool? She fell in love with Christ. And her tears, her heart's cry to see the Lord. These are very insignificant connections. To our eyes, it misses our eyes. Not the direct disciples, not the apostles, they had the vision of Christ first. Christ was revealed to Magdalene. And that is very remarkable story. And it indicates that only by intense love, intense tears of repentance, love for God, feeling that connection with God, it can in split second can remove the darkness and the veil can drop. That is the point. So here we find that is the teaching. Arjuna was also said that Bahuni me betitani janmani tabucha Arjuna. Oh Arjuna, I was born many times, you were also born many times. But you forgot all these things. I remember everything. God comes again and again to redeem the human all from our sufferings. But we jivas, we forget that, and we getting overwhelmed in the mire of ignorance. We live an ordinary life. But it can drop at any point of time if one is sincere. What a hope! And no matter what you have done, Girish said the same thing to Sri Ramakrishna. Had I known that you would come, I would have done much sinful activity. What did I do? But again, Girish is saying, look at me. I have done such heinous acts that if I sit somewhere, 10 cubits down the earth gets polluted because of my sinful action. And he is saying, well, had I known that you would come, O Ramakrishna, I would have done much worse sinful activities. That means Girish's, what is the speciality of Girish? Is his vishwas, no? Unflinching faith and surrender. And that took away all the veil for Girish in recent age. And here is Magdalene is giving the same example. Her life, her activity, everything is gone. But her one-pointed love for Christ and intense desire and cry and tears purified the heart. And he had the first to see Christ coming in the vision. It must be that pure mind. The visions are realities experienced in a different state of mind. One sees visions only when the mind responds to that vibration. That is to be understood. What is vision? Vision is seeing something. So long you call seeing, that this is also seeing. I am seeing you, you are seeing me. But I cannot see the bacteria with these eyes. So there is a mind level and the physical instrumentality where we can see different levels of things. If we can see this as true, why not in a purer mind when you see something that is true? But how can I raise myself into that purer concept? And we know in our Patanjali Yoga, raising our consciousness from one level to the other level to the other level, go to this level and beyond. So each level is a purification of the mind from one level to the other level. Visions are true or wrong. You can say it is wrong. You can say it is right. It's wrong because I don't see it. It is wrong. But I don't see does not prove it. But Swami Sarvadevananda dealt with this issue. He said that few people only say God can be realized and they have seen God. But majority of the people say no, there is no such thing, I don't see it. So, which is true? Because masses say something, huge number of people say one thing, or few realized people say that. What will be true? True will be that which few scientists say that is true. Millions of people we see the stars are little dots of light. Does not prove that the stars are dots of light. But when it is proved by the authoritative people, and with their authority when they say that is true, number may be less. Number does not count much, but the truth is something different. So here, the question comes, the vision. Are the visions true or wrong? Yes, visions are visions because it is seen only through the level of mind. One layer of mind in one level can see divine things. Ramakrishna used to see with eyes open. Sri Ramakrishna said, I see God more tangibly than I see you. So I see you means this is the physical level in our mind. It is tangible, it is, I can touch, I can feel this way. And it is the same. It's vision. That Sri Ramakrishna's disciple in Bangladesh, Dhaka, what is the name? Who saw, he said, Vijay Krishna Goswami. Vijay Krishna Goswami was talking about Ramakrishna and said, Sir, you cannot befool me anymore. I have seen you there in Dhaka and I have touched you. It's like a feeling of a physical presence. Is it not resurrection? He is in Dakshineshwar and Vijay Krishna in Dhaka. In those days, it is not plane, you can go by 1 hour flight. But it is not like that. In the mental level, see, it is that God's appearance is possible. But which type of mind is necessary? It's a pure mind. See, Vijay Krishna told that I have seen you there and I was doubtful. I touched you and felt you as you were leaving Ramakrishna there. So this is vision, are all realities, and it is experienced in different state of development of the mind. One sees visions only when the mind responds to that level of vibration. Here is, this moment here is the presence of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother. No, we saw some of our great Swamis have seen Holy Mother standing there, sitting there, Ramakrishna standing here. Why don't you see? It's a resurrection. That resurrection happens where? If you say that it happens in the physical realm, yes, we can say it happens because someone is having that experience. But that experience, is it transforming the life? There is a question. Whether it is vision or not, that question should be important. Is that vision transforming the personality who has the vision? Or is he remains the same old guy of anger, frustration, cravings and all these worldly weaknesses and say, I have a vision of God? It will transform the whole life. That's why Magdalene was transformed, Vijay Krishna was transformed, Ramakrishna was transformed. We see, taking them as human beings, as many examples we find, their life. All the Christian mystics, look at that. That ladies, all the saints who have become, they saw the stigmata, feeling of Christ and thinking of Christ so much, they feel identified with that. And they feel that this points that the bleeding started there. So this is much more to feel in every pore of the body, that identity. It is possible with the purification of the mind it happens. But in one sense, it is true. But is it happening in the physical world? Yes. For the person who is experienced, it is happening in his mind, not in the physical level. Had it been in the physical level, so when Christ appears for one, everyone will see that. Here, if Swami Prabhupada has had the vision of Holy Mother, Sri Ramakrishna, then all the people who are around, they will also see Ramakrishna. Why you don't see? That's the point. It needs the purity of the heart. When that pure mind resonates in that level, they can see that. So it is not that it is all hallucination, but it is happening in the pure heart. Magdalene's heart was purified, and there Christ appeared. And Upanishad says, that's why His grace, Yame Vaisha Brinute Tena Labhya Tasyaisha Atma Brinute Tanung Swam. Upanishad says, Yam eva esha vinute. Yam, Jahake, whom this Atman, this God, accepts. Or opposite way also, one who accepts him. Both ways it can go. And for that person only, that Atma, brinute, tonung swam, his own divine self is revealed to that individual soul. So this is the point, that one who is seeking for God. As Ramakrishna said, if one moves one step towards God, God comes 10 steps. So if God selects one, but even God selects, what's that to me? I don't care for that. God always watches upon us and wants to make that we all be in blessed situation. But we don't go to them, we don't look at them. Rabindranath Tagore has a beautiful song. There his song, he says, "O Lord, that you are hiding in my heart all the time. And that's why I didn't see you. I was looking outside. And I never looked in my bosom of my heart, in my all love, in my all pain and suffering, in all my hopes and aspirations. You were so close to me. But I didn't go to you. I didn't reach you. You were in my life as joy, and I was forgetful about you, just in a playful mood in the world. My days have passed that way, and you are always hiding in the deepest depth of my prana, and in all my miseries and joys, the music of miseries and joys, you have given the tune or note. I didn't sing your song, O Lord. Amar hiyar majhe lukiye chile, dekhte ami paine, তোমায় দেখতে আমি পাইনে, আমি বাহির পানে চোখ মেলেছি, হৃদয়ে পানে চাইনে, আমার হিয়ার মাঝে লুকিয়েছিলে. This is the point. He is here and now, but we are not feeling it. Resurrection is not happening. Why? Because we are not ready. We have to prepare ourselves. And Upanishad also describes that, yes, it is only when one accepts with earnestness, then His grace comes down. That's why the stone rolled over before the eyes of Mary Magdalene, the veil dropped from the mind became purified with love, devotion, and with the tears of the eyes. Purity of heart, cry for God vision, tears of love needed to experience this resurrection. Because you say, as I discussed just now, it is happening very concrete material world in the physical level. Yes, in one sense, it is happening in the outside world. Yes, because who had pure heart experienced all these visions palpably and felt their presence. See, Sri Ramakrishna said that I see God more palpably. And no, not only that, whoever comes near him, he felt that touch. Remember the 1st of January They are all seeing. But why everyone is seeing differently? Ramlal Dada saw that he used to meditate on God. Ramakrishna touched him, and that day he found that his Ishta Devata, who is inside, he could not even imagine a little bit of that in the meditation. It became living consciousness there. So that is the resurrection into the consciousness of his Ishta Deva. Like that, on the 1st of January 1886, we find how many people in the same group of people having their experiences in different levels. That means Sri Ramakrishna did it by touch, made them pure, and the mind was lifted to that level. So that is the indication. Resurrection can happen. Holy Mother saw Sri Ramakrishna. When? After the passing away, when she was so upset, Sri Ram, Holy Mother, and then bereavement, and she was taking away all the gold ornaments and other things from her body. And then Ramakrishna asked, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Where did I go? I am in this house or that house." It was so palpable presence, and she stopped that. You remember that Holy Mother is going in pilgrimage, and the train, her left arm was put near the window, and there is the amulet of Sri Ramakrishna's amulet she was wearing. Sri Ramakrishna appeared. "Why are you putting your amulet outside? Put it in." So these are all hallucination, or these are all reality. So these are happening because they are tuned always in a higher level. Sosi Maharaj, Swami Ramakrishnananda. What he did? He was there in Madras, in Chennai, and he suddenly saw Swamiji appeared and said, "Sosi, I have spat the body like a spitting. I have left the body like spitting." That means, and he came to know Swamiji passed away that night. So, mystics of all religions, they have their vivid visions. Gopalisma, you can see, that is seeing Gopala, that stone, a metallic small image of Gopala, as a living image, seeing it. And she is seeing, why not other people are seeing the same thing? When Sri Ramakrishna having the vision of mother, first vision of mother, was there not any other person who were around? If it is happening, because it is happening physical thing, I would see the same thing. If something happens here, all of us will see the same thing. But why not Ramakrishna's first mystic vision, when he saw the Holy Divine Mother, and Mother's light effulgent coming out of her body and radiating all over, and she lost his consciousness and went into Samadhi. So this is is it happening in the heart? In the physical body, it is all these experiences, though in the body, they are lifted in another level of consciousness. So it is, and in another sense, Akhandananda, there are stories, good stories. So Akhandananda Swami, Swamiji passed away, so he was restless, and he could not bear the separation of Christ. And then he thought that I shall leave my body. I will, and tram line, and he stood and he thought I will fall down and will die. Overwhelmed. And he suddenly stood in the tram line, and suddenly he lost the outer consciousness, and Swami Vivekananda appeared before him. And then the driver came and hold his hand, pushed him outside the tram line, moved out of the tram track. Another time Akhandananda was going to Nivedita, and he saw Swami Vivekananda, and she also shared their experience with seeing Swamiji. Akhandananda saw Holy Mother standing at the spot where the Mother's temple now at Belur Math, wearing a new beautiful white sari, with red border, her feet adorned with alta, the red color. On the night, mother left her physical body. So vivid. So these are all, I am just quoting a few recent stories which are recorded in the life of Ramakrishna, in the Holy Mother, in the life of Akhandananda and others. Swami Premeshananda, the song we sing normally, that infinite ocean of consciousness, there arose the wave of love, and that is Sri Ramakrishna, and his beaming face, radiant with joy, that Arupa Shayare, that song. How it happened? He was crying for God vision, he's crying for vision, experience. And he felt one day that this life is meaningless if I don't have that. And then he last saluted and said, I'll hang myself. So he tied a cloth on the roof, and then was last pranam and came up. And with that, immediately he had a vision. And that was the vision production. That's music, beautiful song. Arupa Shayare Lila Lahori. In the infinite ocean, nameless, formless ocean of bliss, there arose that wave of love which is Ramakrishna. And the beautiful composition, every word is so profound. We sing it so many times. So this vision, and that he said later on, that all my doubts are gone. Sangshayo shabo aji tirohito. He says, now by this vision, my sangsaya, all my doubts are just thrown asunder, all gone. And that is the joyful. So this vision and mystic vision are happening, and it has happened, it is happening to the mystics and lovers of God who have opened their heart for God, who are purifying their heart, and they are really seeking for truth. So it is happening. So as we said, that this vision is happening, or resurrection happens in a concrete material form, or in deeper, purer mental plane. So it happens, it can be said, yes, it is true, it happens in a purer mental state. And no, because you don't see it, you can say, I don't believe all those things, but these are the realities. Material science declares that physical truths are perceivable by anyone and everyone if they have the right instrument and right knowledge about that. Similarly, in spiritual science also, these are the things which we can have it and we can experience that. So, that is why doubts, and now this disciples doubt, another point. Doubt arises because we are not clear about that truth. We are hearing all the time. Sometimes the cloud of ignorance vanishes a little bit, and then we try to see a little gleams, little light behind. But again, doubt comes. That's why Rabindranath Tagore has a beautiful song, Majhe majhe tabo dekha pai, chirodin keno paine. Oh Lord, I see a glimpse of your presence occasionally, but why don't I see it constantly? Why cloud comes and covers my vision and don't allow me to see your presence all the time? So he was a mystic poet. His mind was in, sometimes the clouds are just wiping out and the vision and experience is coming. And again cloud comes. So as in spiritual life, these clouds are bound to come. If one practices spiritual life, then these doubts will be following. That's why doubt, samshaya, Sri Ramakrishna has been defined. Why? In this age, same Christ in the form of Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda has defined Sangshayo Rakshasa Nasha Mahaastram. Ramakrishna, or we are talking about Christ. For me, it is no difference, because we, following the Vedanta, this actually, God has saved us, that this separateness of Christ, Buddhas, Ramas, Krishnas. No, it is same God in different time, in different form. So here, Swami Vivekananda talks about Christ, or we can say Ramakrishna, I take it for all the incarnations. They are Sangshayo Rakshasa. It's a demon. Doubt is like a demon. We read the Upanishad. We read Ramakrishna. We read Bible. Blessed are the pure in heart, they will see God. For they shall see God. We see how many mystics have experienced this. But still, we live a life of in the darkness, and we spend our days in vain thoughts and ideas, and loosely live our life. Why? They say, but there is okay. But there is a but always. And that but is the doubt. You say anything, there are some people, you give 20 arguments, he is doubting, and say last, but even you think that his solution is done. Then he says, but, again in a but. Or on the scriptures, that's where you find. When the Shankara's commentary and other places, you'll find all the opposite ideas placed by one, they say, no, it is not rationally discarding, but still, something will remain. But, so that but who can destroy that? Yes, these incarnations come to destroy that doubt. Doubt is like a demon which does not eats away all the essential, vital, spiritual power and makes us a fool in the world. So, Atman or Brahman is a reality. But a big mystery is there. The demon of doubt stops that. That's why Upanishad says, Vidyate hiraya granthi chidyante sarva sangsaya tasmin drishti paravare. When one can experience the highest, the absolute, and with a pure heart, can tune into the same oneness. That means the individual soul's ego, this body identity, all this ignorance and its effects, when it is just blown out, the cloud of ignorance, the cloud of not knowing the truth is blown out. It happens only tasmin drishtes paravare, when one can really become one with that. It cannot be before. That means that is the real resurrection. Coming back to ourselves. We come from Brahman. We come from our eternal pure soul. And then we go back. But here, in this story of resurrection, same God in human form came. That is, you see God. Seeing Christ, you are seeing God. As Swami Mahapurush Maharaj used to say, no? Somebody said, oh, we have no fortune to see Ramakrishna. He said, now you are seeing me, you are seeing Ramakrishna. Means, when that same spirit descends, seeing that descent form is really seeing the Brahman form. Brahman in the absolute form, Brahman in the Sakara form. Only difference is this. But this difference will melt away so soon if one can really move in this spiritual journey. This distinction between the Sakara and Nirakara, the form and the formless aspect, will melt away if one can rise up to that Ishvara state. That means one can practice spirituality with pure heart, cry and weep and pray, and purify the clouds of doubt, goes. Then you see the Saguna Brahma. You see, like Ramakrishna saw, Holy Mother, Divine Mother, no? Mother Kali, effulgent, bright, brilliant, radiant with light. And that radiance merges into the infinite radiance. And then he drops into that. So this difference is there, because I am talking about Saguna and Nirguna mixing up. But don't feel that they are two different things. In one aspect is the other aspect, but if you can raise your consciousness up to that far, this little difference will be melting away automatically by its force. So that is point, that this Rakshasa, that demon, is to be destroyed, and only it can be when you see God or see the Brahman, see the Atman, then only all doubts will go. But doubts will still remain. But only way is to place our mind in the level of purity. So it is, that's why this discussion, how to visualize these experiences of that supreme, whether it is absolute aspect or the Saguna aspect or Sakara aspect, or Saguna or Nirakara aspect, whatever, or Avatara aspect. They are not different. Avatar is Ishvara, Ishvara is Brahman. 3 level. Avatara, incarnation, is God Himself, manifested in the human body. Such a Bhagavan, Bhagavan comes down, Bhagavan. And the Bhagavan comes from where? Cosmic Brahman added with cosmic Maya is called Ishvara. So, Bhagavan is Avatar. Avatar is Bhagavan. And Bhagavan, the Saguna or Sakara, breaks that form and name, becomes infinite. Like Ramakrishna said, that the iceberg, ice in the ocean, there are places where ice does not melt. So those, it melts with the knowledge. When you reach there, and that ice can melt if you want to do, it melts into the ocean. So that is the resurrection, real resurrection. But this seeing Christ itself, seeing Ramakrishna itself, seeing Buddha, seeing Chaitanya, seeing this type of experience, if it transforms the life, it is resurrection, and it is true. Because this subtle and sublime truth can be realized in the very pure and subtle and sublime mind. Mind should be subtle and sublime, not this gross mind. Gross mind can catch the gross objects. All the worldly things, we can be very expert in worldly things, but we cannot be expert in the subtle things. So that's the spiritual practice, makes their mind subtle, subtler, and purer and purer and purer. By noble thoughts, we can do this by noble thoughts, noble prayers, selfless sacrifice, meditation, analysis, detachment from all our actions. So disciplines of purifying our mind. So, therefore, this is the practice we should have to do. Christ said, that's why blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Seeing God is preconditioned by the purity of the emotions, purity of the feelings, purity of our love. We love, but our love is impure love. Because you cannot love unselfish love. Unselfish love is possible only when God comes into the picture. Otherwise, everywhere there is a tinge of selfishness. And selfishness is connected with this physical body and mind and emotions. So in the mind and body, mind also becomes purified, your body becomes purified. That's why we call the holy men. Holy men means what? Holy men does not mean that the mind is pure, their body is pure. That's why anyone, we go and touch the holy people at their feet to get their energy back. That body has become purified. Every cell becomes sattika. You see the society, we have so many varieties of people. We look human. But everything, the mind, as the mind thinks, the cells will take their position. Sattika cell will come. Rajasa will come or Tamasa will come depending on what one thinks. So a spiritual sadhaka should always try to purify. And this purity of our emotion, feelings, and the total transformation will come, and day in and day out by thinking about the divine, about pure. And God is pure, thinking of God mind becomes pure, no? That's why there is a song, Mana chhache tumare phele shama, Monomoi murti aaj labo tule. Oh mother, in my mind there is a, what you call, the mold. I will just, in my mold of my mind, I will catch you and I will be transformed into your mold. So, that is to transform ourselves. Our meditation is nothing but putting in the cast of the mold of Ramakrishna. There is a mold. And that mold, we think about that, that means our total transformation happens. That's why Raja Maharaj was so tuned to Ramakrishna, then when he used to move, people used to think that from the behind, Ramakrishna is walking. Physical transformation happens. Ramakrishna's life we find, when he is worshipping in the form of Hanuman, what happening? He is growing a tail. It's possible physical transformation coming. So, intense thinking of God will transform everything, and then the reality will be visible there. So, then sun appears? No, sun is always there. Cloud disappears from the vision and God appears. So, therefore, we need to understand that this resurrection, seeing that God appearing before our life, is the goal of life. And we are all, as devotees and monks, we are trying to reach that goal. And these are not stories, these are not gossips, these are realities. This has been tested and verified from time immemorial. And we have discussed today many examples from the life of Ramakrishna. Life of Ramakrishna, plethora of examples we can find. You read the whole Leela Prasanga divine play, and you find how many visions, how many experiences are coming one after another. How can you say Gopala's Ma is telling such stories? Swami Vivekananda is not, first of all, is doubtful. These are all mental hallucination. Your mind is not in clear position. Some people thinking wrongly, they can hallucinate. But he had to accept, when Gopala's Ma is talking about her experiences, that this baby is crying whole night. She said, I cannot eat this. She was a poor lady and gave something to eat. And that was not very soft. And the baby's throat is cut. And baby is crying. And Ma said, what can I do, my child? I am very poor lady. I have nothing to give you. Please, please, please. And with such emotion, Ramakrishna is sitting over there and telling, Naren, what do you think about this? Then Naren said, what can I say? She's talking in such intense sincerity. I must have to believe. And he himself believed everything. When he was in Gajipur, he was trying to go to what? That Pauhari Baba. Seeing Pauhari Baba, Swami Vivekananda was he is a open-minded person. Seeing anything great, he will embrace. Ramakrishna did not see, so taught him the, what is called, Hatha Yoga, how to make the body live longer. So he thought, here is a great yogi, I will learn from him. And so he was inclined to visit him, see him. Surprisingly, you read the poem, Swami Vivekananda's poem, that during that time, whole day he is thinking, and suddenly he found that the night time, Sri Ramakrishna came and standing near his head and says, Naren, are you going to give me up? Are you going to leave me? And he thought, okay. No. And then again, next day, there is a beautiful song, no? I forgot the lines. Again and again, he appeared. And with tearful eyes, Ramakrishna appeared. His living presence, Ramakrishna appeared several times. And then ultimately, Swami Vivekananda gave up, because he found that Pauhari Baba is asking some favor from Vivekananda himself. And he also found that in his what is called that, in his chamber where he used to live, in that cave, there is a picture of Ramakrishna. He is worshipping Ramakrishna. So anyhow, point is that these are true Mahapurush Maharaj. How many experiences? Shivananda, no? Baburam Maharaj. If you go to all the recent stories, even next generation Swamis, I also know many of the Swamis of direct disciples' disciple, or Holy Mother's disciple. They have so many experiences. They saw God. So it is possible, and we have to bring out our own pure mind to deal with this day and night, thinking of this resurrection of the Lord is possible, whether it is in Saguna form, or Nirguna form, or Sakara form, or Nirakara form. That's a different thing, but these are realities, and that is the inspiration of this Easter. Okay? I'll go for question answer, but I'll close this first. Om Krishtayo Ishadutayo Ishadharma Pracharine Atmatyaga Pradiptayo Sanyasine Vai Namaha. I salute Jesus Christ, the messenger of God, who preached the message of the Lord to the world, the ever-renouncing monk who is shining and in his own glory, the fire of the self-sacrifice and his glory to the world is manifesting. I salute that Christ again and again.
The first question. Sir, have you seen God? If yes, then what is God?
I cannot say I have seen God, but I cannot say that I have not. Because I have seen people who have seen God. So, what it matters? God cannot be described. We have to go to the scriptures. This question has been raised again and again. Swami Vivekananda went to Ramakrishna with this question, have you seen God? Here is a man who said, yes, I can see. And what is God? What is God? He touched him. And what happened? When he touched Ramakrishna, read that life, he saw that the concrete wall, the building, the house, everything is just vanishing as it becoming like a dream, no? And vanishing into void. And mind is going to a different level. And Vivekananda, like person, young man, Narendran, he cried out, oh, what are you doing? I have my mom, I have my dad, So who can describe? All the scriptures are trying to describe about God. Who am I to say anything about that? No, I cannot say that I am competent to talk about that, but I would refer you to read the Upanishads, add the ideas what the Upanishads have said, add the ideas of what the Puranas have said, add the ideas what the Bible is said, add the ideas of what Buddhist, Dhammapad has said. So add all these experiences and go on continuing, but God cannot be described. Thank you.
Question from Pinaki. Vivekananda had a lot of doubts. Sri Ramakrishna transformed him. Why did he select him?
Why did he select him?
In other words, why did the Ramakrishna select Vivekananda?
Acha, yeah, good. You know, we have no doubt, we don't question. Means we are all Brahmagyanis? No, we don't understand. When there is no question, some of our Swamis used to say, when there is no question in the mind of a seeker, then he is not a seeker. Because your sharp mind will bring some question. As I said, doubt or questioning is the very nature of knowing the thing. So, Vivekananda, Ramakrishna came for the whole world. He must have the doubt which I have my doubt, you have your doubt. Millions of people will have their doubts, and those doubts are to be solved. Doubts, answers should be found from a real teacher. Ordinary teacher, they will be puzzled, they will say, I do not know. But Vivekananda is not like that. Vivekananda is mouthpiece. So what the response of that particular question, they must have to get it. And who will give that? It is Vivekananda-like person can give it. That's why all the doubt, they come for the good of the world. You know, they carry the whole question which we may have that question come in our life. Your life, my life, in my position, your position. And in spiritual life, infinite number of channels as levels are there. From different levels, there will be different questions. So, how can you solve if you don't have your right understanding from a right authority? Ramakrishna is the authority. Ramakrishna can transmit spirituality, can explain because he has seen God. So to seeing God, he can explain, and that explanation is the right. And doubt is not bad. Doubt for right questioning indicates a state of mind which is pure mind. Right question, people cannot put right question. In many places we will find that in the name of question, we are rambling about some words which does not make any sense. But question is very important, because in spiritual journey there are so many tidbits of things. As we have discussed today, few points only. Resurrection is, everyone knows the story and that goes away. You can think about that. Why the stone rolled down, how the stone fell off, and how he has the vision then. Why not? Vision can penetrate the wall, giving an indication. There is a wall of ignorance between us and the truth. That should drop. So, like that, I think doubt is not bad, and Swami Vivekananda Ramakrishna used to like that. He used to say, yes, you watch and have your questions solved, no? To Jogin Maharaj, no? He said, day and night you will check on the correctness of the teacher. So I think that's a good, healthy thing. And also, if you are equipped with those questions and their responses, then you can be a world teacher. Ramakrishna said, you want to kill yourself, you can kill yourself with a knife. But you want to kill the outside people, you need a sword, big sword. So Vivekananda, Sangshayo Rakshasa Nasa Mahastram, Ramakrishna, he is the great weapon to destroy all types of doubts, because Sri Ramakrishna has experienced every bit of spiritual life. And Swami Vivekananda said, I know every inch of spiritual life. That's the way he knew from an authority like Ramakrishna. I think this is probably the reason.
Question from Kushal. Why do the monks of the Ramakrishna mission always say Vivekananda was learning Hatha Yoga from Pavari Baba? Because the letter written by Vivekananda from Gazipur to Swami Akhandananda clearly states he was learning Raja Yoga.
Okay. Yes, true. But Raja Yoga already had, true, you are right, Raja Yoga, but in Raja Yoga's part is that, another part is that which is Hatha Yoga, unless your body is strong, you cannot follow the path of Raja Yoga, truly. So he was interested to know also that. But Raja Yoga he already got from Sri Ramakrishna, but methodically he wanted to know from. That's true. You are right.
Question from Sudarshan. How to purify our thoughts?
Yeah. How to purify our thoughts? Yeah. We have to keep our mind in pure thought, that's all. What is pure? Make it clear. That which connects us with God, that is pure. Make a straight cut division. What makes us pure? That thought which connects us with God and godly. And that thought takes us from God to the world and worldly. That is to be discarded. So our effort should be, that's why Raja Yoga says, the vritti sharupam itaratra. Our vritti, mental, mind means what? Thought. One thought comes one wave. Another thought comes another wave. So, vritti is the waves of the mind, ripples of the mind. So, as you think, so your mind gets that shape and size and color. So, if I think of a holy form, say a holy form of Buddha, immediately what will come to your mind? We all know. What will come to your mind? Buddha, a serene, steeped in samadhi, or steeped in his nirvana state, for the good of humanity, whose heart is bleeding for the good. So these qualities also coming into your mind. So thinking of something holy makes our mind saturated with that type of feeling and thoughts and emotions. So if we again and again and again put that, that's why japa and meditation we say, or it says tad japa tadartha bhavana, when you are doing meditation or japa, think of the meaning. That means you raise a wave in your mind. What you are meditating? You are thinking of, say, Ramakrishna. So you think of Ramakrishna's form, and along with who is Ramakrishna in your mantra, those things are given. So thinking of holy thought, divine thought, which takes us close to God, that is to be practiced to make the mind pure. God is only pure. Everything is impure. Why? Everything mixed with ignorance. Everything mixed with maya. So which is beyond maya, that is the pure. Okay?
Sri Ramakrishna saw Jesus. Are they one and the same?
Yeah. Sri Ramakrishna saw Jesus. Sri Ramakrishna saw everything. That's why infinite number of experiences. That's why Sri Ramakrishna is called Bhaswara Bhavasagara. He is the ocean of all spiritual moods and experiences. So yes, he saw Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna saw Christ. True. To prove that Christ can be seen now also. And we should not end there, but next step we have to think. He saw Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna saw Christ. But next point, that Ramakrishna came, that Christ came and merged in Ramakrishna. That's why we call Ramakrishna is Christ. It is not that I saw. He is separate, I am separate. Not that. Here the experience is that that Ramakrishna saw a divine presence, and he saw, his heart swelled in the thought, he must be the all-compassionate Christ, Jesus Christ. Even he described his physical features. And then afterwards that divine effulgent form merged into him. Divine effulgent form, Rama, Krishna, they all merged into him. That means he is the another form. He is in another form. That is the way we take it. That's why, though it is, he saw the vision, but that same vision merged into him. And you need not have to believe that Ramakrishna is Rama Krishna. No, not necessary. You think whatever way you like, Ramakrishna is is the embodiment of all, and everyone should worship according to their idea. I am not saying that you have to believe this theory that Ramakrishna had the vision of Christ, so Christ and Ramakrishna are one. You may not have to believe that. You think Christ is Christ separate, Ramakrishna is Ramakrishna. That is yours. But from our Vedantic perspective, we think it is the same reality appearing in different form and showing that today we can see Christ. Today we can see Rama, we can see Krishna, we can see all the other visions and experience. Ma Kali we can see, Ma Durga we can see, Shiva you can see. Now experience here now, his life is a testimony for all types of spiritual followers in different traditions. So I think that is the mission for Sri Ramakrishna.
That question was from Connie. This question from Shirish. There are so many different techniques of meditation. Is it better to try them all or stick to one?
Yes, there are there's various techniques of meditation. There's now meditation books, so many books has come out, and also so many instructions about meditation. But that's why we go to Guru. That's why in spiritual life there is a value to go to our teacher. And then let our teacher tell us what is suited for me. If you go to the medicine, what do you call, pharmacy, there may be 10 medicines for your headache, or 20 medicines for some other purpose. So what is suited for my system, if you want to, you can take anything. You can take this. That does not cure the disease, rather it complicates the disease. That's why you need to know what is needed for my purpose. That's why you go to our Guru. Let our Guru teach us. But before that you can select your Guru who is capable of becoming a Guru. You can find the quality of him, or you should be satisfied with him, or he should be satisfied with you. That's a different thing. But my suggestion would be, yes, so many instructions are there. Don't take all of them at a time and make a khichdi of that. That will not do good, rather that will do harm. Because your nature may be different, and mixing together, yes, it is a matured state, all meditation is God. Whatever meditation they teach about, it is only God. But it is not safe to follow all the meditation together. Rather, your Guru has said, stick to that. Very important point. Don't edit anything in that. That day someone asked me, oh, I am getting this question and this type of meditation, that type of, I will say, are you initiated? If you are initiated, by whom? Then I asked, whom? Then he said that Swami Sahananda Maharaj. So don't edit a single thing what he has instructed, not deviate from that. Whatever your Guru has told you, follow that. Because he is giving a tested and verified path. So you should follow. And if any question, go to your Guru. Or if you have any doubt, talk to people who you believe like your Guru, or you can trust on them. But don't take advice of everyone. Because there are many ways of going. Suppose if I start from here and take the map to reach, say, airport. So I can go, say, 1 mile on Vine, then I come back by that Vedanta terrace, then 1 mile go this way, and then come 1 mile that way. So shall I reach the airport any time? Or at all? Or if we go, how much confused? Where to go? So better to follow one direction. It may be longer path. It's a longer, it will take you. It may be shorter path. Okay, it will take you. So follow that what has been given by Guru. That will be my humble suggestion.
Question from Hyman. Much, much gratitude. Do not all authentic yogas, rightly and consistently practiced, have the potential to yoke?
Yeah, true, very true. Yes, if it is followed, traditional thing, and everyone has the potential to take us to the truth. But some may be suited for you, some may be suited for others, because we are not in the same plane. We are not in the same maturity of our spiritual life. Though someone may be younger than you, he may be advanced more than you. And I may be, age-wise I am much older, I may be a baby in spiritual life. So according to my need, suppose you are to give a food to a person, what suits to the nature of the person. Very important. A good food does not mean good for me. It is said that good milk is good. No? But milk is bad for snake because it creates poison in them. So this is the only thing. Every good thing is good. Say, what do you call, ice cream, or no, what can be given an example? So, something which is good for you may not be good for me. It will be a danger for me. Suppose I am diabetic, but low sugar, give some sweet. But I am having high sugar and I am giving something more sugar. So what will happen? So that's why it is, everyone is different. So we'll have to consider that point. Okay, thank you all for having those questions. And tomorrow is nothing, but Tuesday is our classes as usual. Thank you all. Next week announcement, who is there? Satyamayananda, no?
Next Sunday, our speaker will be Swami Satyamayananda, and his topic, Ascent to Spiritual Liberation, Moksha. And also, Maharaj, coming up on the 24th of April, Saturday the 24th, is our annual members meeting. All official Vedanta Society members are requested to attend, and we'll be sending out a link for the Zoom meeting. It will be conducted virtually.
At time? What time?
It will be at 10:30 in the morning, Saturday, April 24.
Thank you.
That's right, on Saturday the 24th. Also, we are celebrating in a small way this year, Hanuman Jayanti. At 4 p.m., we'll be chanting 11 times the Hanuman Chalisa. And at 5:15, we'll hear from both Swami Sarvadevananda and Swami Satyamayananda on the glory of Hanuman.
Okay, thank you.